What's going on, everybody? I have my first laptop video for you, and it was thanks to ASUS for bringing me over to their headquarters while I was at Computex in Taipei. Now, in this case, we're taking a look at a very exciting new laptop, the Zenbook Pro. And one of the reasons why it's so exciting is because it comes with more than one screen. Yes, that is a 5.5-inch Full HD display underneath the touchpad where you would normally do your input. You can do a lot of stuff here. Not only can you add some shortcuts to there, you can also use it as a second display if you want to put something like YouTube down there. But before we get into all of that, why don't we get through some of the specifications. The main display is a 4K Pantone validated display that will offer true and accurate color reproduction, which is huge because this is a laptop they're gearing towards creatives, and of course you want to have accurate color reproduction for things like video and photo editing. Underneath that backlit keyboard, you have either a Core i5, i7, or the latest 6-core 8th generation Core i9, which would be awesome, and it's all paired with 16 gigabytes of RAM. In terms of graphics, you do have a GTX 1050 Ti in this case, so it's not the most powerful gaming laptop. Now, one thing I do like about this laptop, even though it is at 15 inches, is that the body is kind of like the 14-inch laptop that I use right now. I don't like to have too many huge laptops in my workflow because I'm traveling all the time, and it looks like the Zenbook Pro actually fits the bill pretty well. But hold up. Yes, I did get to take a look at Project Precog, but unfortunately you're only going to be seeing me when I talk about it because I wasn't able to take any photos or videos of it, but I did play around with it a little. The first thing I can tell you is that it is a very thin and very small laptop. It's even smaller than a 14-inch laptop like the one I'm using right now. It is 2 screens, but the panels are very thin and allow for just enough room for a few different ports, like the USB-C port and then micro SD card slot, I think is what I saw over on the other side. But overall, it's really thin, which is pretty amazing when you consider the fact that you have to power both screens with what should be a pretty large battery. But of course, the main idea behind Project Precog is the fact that you don't only have a screen in front of you, there's also a screen underneath. But of course, in the Zenbook Pro, you're getting a smaller version of what the Precog is trying to do with what is called the screen pad. We've already covered a little bit of this. You probably have already seen me enjoying it by putting some YouTube videos down there, but honestly, it is a bit of expansion that you didn't realize you really wanted until you try it for yourself. Hit the F6 button to toggle between the different options, and in the screen pad mode, you can use customized apps in the smaller display, like a calculator, and you can also add in a bunch of shortcuts. But then, when you're in certain applications on the main screen, that entire area changes depending on the context. For example, when you're on YouTube, that bottom portion actually becomes the scrubber, so you can easily go to different parts of the video by just dragging the little dot around in the video. This is a mode that is aside from the secondary display mode, which is probably my favorite thing about it, because you're able to get pretty much anything from the main screen and drag it down like it is literally a second monitor that is connected to the laptop. There are a lot of possibilities for this kind of mode, and obviously the main ones, or maybe the obvious ones, are for media consumption. You could literally have a video playing down there like a movie or something if you like to have stuff in the background while you're working, and yes, it might be distracting, but it's also really fun. Which kind of brings me to the main concern that I have and that ASUS actually understands with Project Precog, the fact that all of your input is going to be done on a touchscreen on the bottom. Now, a keyboard is paramount to the laptop experience, and if you don't have that tactile feedback to let you know that you're actually hitting all of the buttons correctly, then typing might become a very high learning curve experience. Now, ASUS is doing a lot of research into figuring out how to make this keyboard work properly, but I can't really give any information on that, and it's also kind of confidential. Let's just say that ASUS is working really hard to actually recreate an experience that is even halfway there to a full actual button keyboard. One final great portion about the Zenbook Pro in terms of media consumption is the audio system. The speakers are Harman Kardon certified, and they sound awesome. And I had the laptop running with some music and some videos in the background while I was shooting it, and it felt like I had a speaker in the room in the background like I usually do. And media consumption might actually be one of the main focuses of Project Precog because you have 2 full screens, and maybe you're able to put it on its side and then unfold it in such a way that it kind of mimics a curved screen experience. Obviously, there's going to be that separation in the middle, but again, this is a concept, and they're going to try and make sure that that little divot in the middle, that little area in the middle that is bezel between the 2 screens, can actually still feel pretty seamless. If anything, the Zenbook Pro has a lot of the basics covered. It is a laptop that will work for a lot of people out there, especially those who are looking to be as productive as possible. It just happens to have some extra features. Not only those speakers, but also that screen pad. So if you were to get a laptop like this, it's going to end up being rather pricey. You are going to still have the core experience and be able to do everything you need to do, and then you can see if the screen pad will actually add to your workflow. There might be some growing pains with a touchscreen like this over on the bottom, but that's true for any new paradigm shift inside of the tech space. But the extreme of that is obviously Project Precog, where you have nothing but screens. And again, it is a concept, and we don't know if something like this is actually going to make it to market properly, and there's a lot of research and development that still has to go into it to make sure that the experience is proper for real laptop users, so that the learning curve is not too high. This is not a concept. This is actually coming to market, and the Zenbook Pro 15 will start at $22.99, and you can get your hands on it as early as mid-July. It does make it a pretty expensive laptop, but at least you get all of the basics covered, and then you just get the screen pad where you can figure out if it would actually add to your workflow. So it's something that you could check out and see if it is really the future of laptop computing. So thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to try out this laptop. Hopefully I'll get a unit for review, and if I do, I will let you know all of my thoughts on it, not only from a creative perspective, but also from a gaming perspective. It does have a GTX 1050 Ti though, so it may not be the most powerful gaming laptop, but it should be able to get most of the jobs done. So until then, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that bell on the side because I try to do videos every weekday, and you can look forward to videos whenever you're looking for what I'm up to next. So keep it tuned here, and I'm going to call it on this one. Remember to enjoy your tea, everybody.